Hey everyone, welcome back for another weekly astrology video. Before we get into it, I really want to give a big thanks to all of you for being here. We just had our last weekly video hit 100 views. That's our first video on YouTube with 100 views, so I'm really excited, and Kenny's really excited as well. I've had a few comments about Kenny and about the astrology, and I just, I'm really enjoying the turnout that we're having here. If you're liking my videos, then please like my videos, as it really helps out. We're trying to get this channel monetized as quick as possible in order to support, production, and in order to do more sorts of activities on the channel. I had spoken last time about doing some outdoor content with Kenny and maybe getting like a camper van or something to live in and do some adventuring in, where I could do astrology outside and stuff, so that'd be really awesome. So if you could help support the channel by subscribing, liking this video, and commenting your thoughts, that would be really appreciated. And thank you so much for that. For those of you who have, thank you so much. So let's get right into the astrology. So this week, oh, Kenny's coming in. Hey buddy, what's up? Kenny? Good boy. I honestly don't even know what to say. So let's get right into the astrology for this week. We have February 2nd to 8th, 2026. And actually, coming off of last week, we've just come off of a Leo full moon. And what I find really interesting from last week is that we had the 5 planets in Aquarius. So that would be the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto. So we had the stellium of 5 different placements all in Aquarius, and Aquarius being the fixed sign in the middle of winter. Isn't it kind of crazy how North America experienced one of the greatest snowstorms in history? And being from around the Toronto area, Toronto had 50 centimeters of snow, which is the heaviest snowfall that Toronto's ever had in its history. So I think it's pretty telling that the astrology is pretty spot on there, because when you have 5 planets, that's half of the major planets in the solar system, all pulling towards that center of winter fixed energy in Aquarius. It's crazy how it's reflected in the world events and in the weather. We also had Neptune come into Aries. And immediately after that happened, the US started sending some warships around the Iran area. And again, Aries representing war and aggression. That's the kind of themes we've been seeing around the area anyways, especially from Pluto being in Aquarius. We've been having a lot of revolutionary acts going on around the world, especially in Iran right now. But that Neptune moving into Aries really is starting to put more pieces into place in that perspective. So the reason I say all that brings me to my next point, which is the first event that we have going on this week. We have February 3rd, we have Uranus stationing direct. And Uranus represents that modern ruler of Aquarius. So we have 5 of the major placements in Aquarius, 5 planets in Aquarius. And then that modern ruler of Aquarius, the traditional ruler being Saturn, but the modern ruler Uranus, the focus here, is stationing direct on the 3rd. So all of this Aquarian energy that we've been experiencing has been driven by a retrograde motion in the background from Uranus. So we're about to see that go direct on February 3rd. So Uranus being the planet of disruption and chaos and again, revolution, we can only imagine what kind of energy to expect as it turns direct on February 3rd. But not only that, because right after we have Mercury making a square with Uranus, so that's bringing a sort of disruption to communications. And then we have Mercury entering Pisces after that, bringing Mercury into the sort of delusional and dreamy realm of Neptune, which again, Neptune just came out of Pisces, where it had spent the last so many years. And then we have Venus making a square to Uranus, which is going to bring unpredictability in relationships. So a lot of Uranus energy going on with all of the planets that are in Aquarius. And then, of course, Mercury coming out of Aquarius and going into the next sign of Pisces. So that brings us to Monday, February 2nd, where we have the moon in Leo opposing Venus in Aquarius, then the moon in Leo opposing Mercury in Aquarius, the moon squaring Uranus in Taurus, and then the moon entering Virgo. Monday's energy carries over the Leo full moon vibe. In the early morning, the Leo moon opposes Mercury and Venus in Aquarius, creating tension between personal expression and social connections. By late morning, the moon square to Uranus in Taurus may trigger unexpected shifts or rebellious moods. After this jolt, the moon goes void of course for much of the day, meaning that it has no more aspects going on. Then enters practical Virgo at 10:20 p.m., calming the atmosphere and turning focus toward details and service. So Tuesday, February 3rd, this is our major event of the week. We have Uranus stationing direct at 27 degrees Taurus. So Tuesday is relatively quiet until nightfall. The moon remains in diligent Virgo, forming subtle harmonies that fine-tune Monday's events without major new developments. The headline is Uranus stationing direct in Taurus, ending its retrograde phase. This station can create a pause or feeling of uncertainty early in the day, followed by a burst of Uranian energy, sudden changes or revelations. Once Uranus shifts forward, it's a turning point encouraging us to embrace progress and innovation. So this Uranus stationing direct is something to really look out for, because we also should mention that Saturn is transiting into Aries in a couple of weeks. So being that both of them are the modern and traditional rulers of Aquarius, and we have all of the planets in Aquarius, half of the planets in Aquarius, then we could see a lot of shifts boiling up between the two of them. So Wednesday, February 4th, we have the moon in Virgo sextiling Jupiter in Cancer, Venus in Aquarius sextiling Chiron in Aries, and the moon in Virgo trining Uranus in Taurus. Wednesday brings gentle astrological support. Before dawn, the Virgo moon forms a harmonious sextile with Jupiter in Cancer, offering optimistic and constructive vibes. In the late afternoon, Venus in Aquarius sextiles Chiron in Aries, suggesting opportunities for healing conversations or relationship growth. Late Wednesday night, the moon trines Uranus in Taurus, introducing a spark of innovation and emotional liberation. The moon goes void of course after this, closing the night on a free-flowing note. So Thursday, February 5th, the moon in Virgo opposes Saturn. The moon then enters Libra, and then the moon in Libra immediately opposes Neptune. Mercury squares Uranus. This is our big event of the day. And then, so that would be Mercury in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. And then the moon in Libra trining Pluto in Aquarius. Thursday starts intensively. Just before dawn, the waning moon in late Virgo opposes Saturn at 2:49 a.m. and then Neptune at 5:03 a.m., which can bring a brief mood of heaviness or confusion. At 4:33 a.m., the moon shifts into Libra, lightening the emotional tone and seeking balance. The morning's major event is Mercury in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus at 7:13 a.m. A volatile aspect that may coincide with sudden news, tech mishaps, or flashes of genius. The Libra moon later makes a supportive trine to Pluto in Aquarius, adding depth and insight in the evening, and then goes void of course late at night. I have all of the times for transits in here. If you guys want to hear transit times, then maybe just put that in the comments. If you don't want to hear transit times, then put that in the comments that you don't want to hear them. I mean, I feel like it's useful, especially for full moons and stuff like that, because then you get a real idea of when the moon's at its brightest and things like that. So I'll leave those ones in because they're really important, but I'll kind of maybe just shift in and out depending on what I feel is relevant. Like I've been doing up to this point, I basically just decide whether I think it's relevant or not, but I have all the notes here. So Friday, February 6th, we have the moon in Libra trining Mars in Aquarius, the moon in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer, then the moon in Libra trining the sun in Aquarius, and then the event of the day is Mercury making its transit into Pisces. So Friday continues the Libra moon's conciliatory trend. In the pre-dawn hours, the moon forms an energizing trine with Mars in Aquarius, promoting cooperation and active problem solving. Around lunchtime, the moon's square to Jupiter in Cancer urges moderation and realistic expectations, followed by a harmonious moon-sun trine, Libra to Aquarius, at 2:49 p.m. By the evening, Mercury leaves Aquarius and enters Pisces at 5:47 p.m., shifting communication towards a more intuitive and compassionate style. The moon spends the rest of the night void after a late night opposition to Chiron, easing gently into Scorpio by the morning. So on Saturday, February 7th, we have the moon in Libra trining Venus in Aquarius, then the moon entering Scorpio at 2:13 p.m. The moon in Scorpio then makes a trine to Mercury in Pisces, and the moon in Scorpio squares Pluto in Aquarius. So Saturday begins with a sociable note, as the Libra moon trines Venus in Aquarius at dawn, supporting pleasant interactions and relationships. The moon is void of course for a long stretch afterward until it enters Scorpio, ending the lull. Once in intense Scorpio, the moon immediately trines Mercury in Pisces at 5:40 p.m., enhancing emotional insight and deep communication. Later on, the Scorpio moon squares Pluto in Aquarius at 9:59 p.m., confronting us with profound feelings or power dynamics. The evening carries an emotionally intense tone, though also cathartic, as we process what's been stirred. Sunday, February 8th. The main event is Venus squaring Uranus, so Venus in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus, then the moon in Scorpio squaring Mars in Aquarius, and then the moon in Scorpio trining Jupiter in Cancer. Sunday sees a mix of turbulence and release. Early in the morning, Venus in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus at 4:58 a.m., shaking up relationships, finances, and personal values with unexpected developments or urges for freedom. The Scorpio moon square to Mars in Aquarius at 3:02 p.m. can bring irritation or conflicts to a head, so patience is needed in the afternoon. By evening, however, the moon forms a flowing trine with Jupiter in Cancer at 8:52 p.m., restoring emotional optimism and providing a supportive sense of growth or understanding. The night ends on a softer note, helping to integrate the week's surprises as the lunar cycle approaches its last quarter phase. So this week's astrology navigated the aftermath of a potent full moon in Leo and set the stage for new directions. Uranus turning direct in Taurus marked a key turning point, unleashing stalled progress and coinciding with sudden shifts or insights. Mercury's entry into Pisces after a jarring square to Uranus, and Venus's unexpected entanglement with Uranus defined a theme of surprise in communication with relationships. By week's end, the intense emotional processing under the Scorpio moon gave way to a supportive moon-Jupiter trine, allowing us to find wisdom and equilibrium despite the upheavals. As we move into next week, we carry forward these lessons, ready for the upcoming changes on the horizon. So yeah, we've got a pretty chill week here, all in all. With the Aquarian snowstorm and then Uranus going direct, we don't really know what to expect. That's Uranus's whole thing, is unexpected and possibly chaotic, so keep that in mind. And then we've still got Saturn moving into Aries to look forward to in the coming weeks, and then the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune on the 20th. So big stuff coming in the astrology in the next couple of weeks. Come. Good boy. You want to say hi to your fans, your new fans? Because I think, we've had 3 new subscribers this week, so thank you to our new subscribers. And it seems most of you are quite interested in Kenny. So, I kind of just got right into all the stuff today, and good boy. I also had a question this week. What kind of dog is Kenny? What kind of dog is Kenny? He is a short-haired tricolor border collie. So, yeah, I actually, at the time when I got him, I didn't even know that border collies came in a short-haired version, But He is the smartest and the goodest boy that I have ever met in my entire life. All right, well, that's the full week of February 2nd to 8th. So if you enjoy this content and you like this video, then please leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel to see more. It really helps out. We're trying to get this channel monetized to keep this channel afloat and to upper production value and do some more stuff. So I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, a subscribe, and a comment if you would be so kind. And to those of you who already have, thank you again. I appreciate you so much for being here. So take care. I'll see you in the next video.